This is the Royals Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Kansas City Royals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Royals Postcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chance Liebau, and I am here to bring you reaction to every single Royals game the rest of the way. You can follow me on Twitter at Chance Liebau. That is at ChanceLieBau. If you can't make a show live, do not worry. These episodes will be uploaded for you to listen to on demand wherever you get your podcast. I want to say thank you for making the Locked On Royals podcast or the Royals Postcast your first listen of the day. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on our notifications and like the video. Thank you so much for joining the show, and feel free to join the live chat and let me know your thoughts on the game, and I'll do my best to respond to some comments. Getting to some right here. What a job by Noah Cameron, says Obito. And I'd have to agree. I mean, it was quite the impressive performance by Noah Cameron. Twins going 0 for 7 as a whole against Cameron with runners in scoring position. One of the most notable things they talked about in the late innings in the broadcast, they did not give up they did not get a 1-2-3 inning until the 8th inning. So just a really impressive performance by the Royals pitching staff tonight, working in and out of jams, being able to do so much tonight that led them to a big win. We talked about it numerous times. I mean, in the last week, in the last 6 days, we've talked about it too much, how they just needed to go 500, or they needed to go above 500 on this road trip. They needed to be 500 going into the final, going into the homestand. They had to go 500, and they finally are, within striking distance of 500. They are now 58 and 59, and we are talking about a team that is in a position right now to be competing for a wild card spot. I'm going to pull up. They were 4.5 games out in the wild card standings. I'm not going to pull it up because it's not that important, but very much they are right in the thick of things. I'm not asking for them to be a wild card team. I'm asking for them to be competitive. And if that's what they are for the rest of the season, then we've got a Royals team that we can cheer for the rest of the way. But let's get right into it with our first segment. Here's what you'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It's Noah Cameron and a unorthodox shutout for Noah Cameron. Usually when guys have shutout outings, they are just dominant from front to back. And that was not Noah Cameron tonight. He did not have very good stuff. He gave up on the night. I'm looking at the box score right now. Gave up, it looks like 6 hard hit balls, 2 walks. In terms of his savant, like if he was in the strike zone, tonight, Noah Cameron was 51% in the zone, and he wasn't getting very much chase, 18% chase rate on the night. So just from a analytical standpoint, he was pretty meh. But for him to be able to work in and out of jams, I mean, there were multiple times tonight, and the Royals offense just didn't do enough to win a game. They were lucky that they got what they did out of Noah Cameron, but 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Royce Lewis as a whole, I believe Royce Lewis was 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position on the night. He was horrible. I mean, he needs to be on the Guardians list for investigations into gambling, because Royce Lewis struck him out. Cameron struck him out to end the first inning, stranded a runner at third. Then a couple innings later, Royce Lewis had a double play that ended the third with a runner at first and third. And then a couple of innings later, F7 that ended the inning. And then a couple of innings later, punched out with 2 runners on to end the inning. So if you look at it, the Twins as a unit had 10 runners left on base tonight. I'd say that as a whole, I'd say 7 of those were because of Royce Lewis. I mean, the ability to get that guy out was a key for the Royals tonight, and that's the same guy that hit a leadoff homer against them last year, has had some relative success against him so far this season. But just a unique shutout for this pitching staff that, I mean, you have to be impressed by what they were able to do tonight. Just tip your cap to the pitching staff as a whole. Noah Cameron, he I don't know. It's like he's got a magnet in his spine that he just loves to have his back up against the wall. And that's one of the guys that you love to have on your team, that one of the guys that you hate to have to watch because you never know what you're going to get on a game in, game out basis. It kind of raises your blood pressure a little bit. But with Noah Cameron, just absolutely loves to pitch with his back up against the wall. And he did a fantastic job tonight of doing just that as the Royals win 2-0. On the night, Noah Cameron finishes with 5 2/3, 6 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. That's more than enough on a night in, night out basis for anybody to really get a win. And for Noah Cameron to do it, this is a guy that is at his best, probably a 2 or 3 starter for a bad team. But he's got a really high floor, and that's what you love about him. I mean, you're never going to mistake him for an ace. I don't think he'll ever be mistaken for an ace. But you can win games with Noah Cameron as your 3rd or 4th starter. You can be a playoff team with Noah Cameron as your 3rd or 4th starter. And that's what he is right now for the Royals. And he just does a fantastic job of getting guys out. It's not pretty a lot of the time. He's not a guy that's going to overpower you with overbearing stuff. He's a guy that is going to give you some high quality innings, and is going to do so when you really don't see it coming. So give credit where credit's due. That was a really tough outing to watch as a fan, But man, give a hat tip to the entire pitching staff, not just Noah Cameron, the entire pitching staff as a whole. Angel Serpa did get out of an inning, but that was his only outing. Hunter Harvey still scoreless on the season. Lucas Ursig finally gets a good inning, and Carlos Estevez shuts him down in the ninth. So you are in a really good position right now as a Royals pitching staff going into your homestand, feeling confident about yourselves to be able to go up against 2 really bad offenses. Obed asking, what dog breed do I have? That's actually my girlfriend's dog right now. So I am on dog sitting duty right now, but I do have a Corgi, and she's got an Australian Shepherd. That is probably what you heard behind me right there. But when we come back, we will talk about the offense. Matt Quatraro deciding to change up the lineup again. We'll talk about what that means and if I think it is a realistic thing we can see moving forward. Coming up next on the Royals Postcast. We have all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal? Gametime's Zone Deals. Pick the best seats in your section for you. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And this episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and college football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before Week 1 kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get into the game. I've used PrizePicks for a few seasons now and love how simple it is. I can get a lineup in before my coffee even finishes brewing. The flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you still double your money. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, run your game. All right. The offense they changed up the lineup tonight. They went with Maikel Garcia in the leadoff spot. I thought that was a bit interesting for them to do, especially with how well Mike Yastrzemski had done the leadoff spot. I mean, he homered last night. So I'm going to look and see what the splits look like for Bailey Ober in terms of his season-long splits against lefty-righty, because maybe he's a little bit harder on lefties. Looks like I mean, he's pretty bad against both, if I'm being honest. I mean, there's really not much of a difference. Righties are hitting a little bit better off of him this season. But for them to go to Maikel Garcia tonight in the leadoff spot, I think it's more so a vote of confidence in him going forward. Just shifting things up. I don't love him as a leadoff guy. I don't think he is a leadoff guy. At his best, I think Maikel Garcia, if Bobby Witt Jr. didn't exist on this Royals team, Maikel Garcia would be the two-hole hitter, and that would be where I put him for the rest of his career. But Royals are obviously in a situation where they have a Bobby Witt Jr. And I don't think Maikel Garcia is a great leadoff guy. We saw it a lot last season. But the way he's approached the plate this season, I feel like he's someone you can at least be reliable with in the strike zone to be able to put a ball in play and, put together some quality ABs. I think this has been a career year for Maikel Garcia, something we have not really expected from him. And, while I want to be a little bit skeptical of him as a leadoff guy, I still think he's a respectable hitter in the leadoff spot. He's better than Jonathan India in the leadoff spot, and I'll admit that now after seeing what he did tonight with an RBI double. He got on base 3 times. It was exactly what you wanted from a guy like Maikel Garcia, but I don't think it's a long-term solution. I'd rather see Mike Yastrzemski in the leadoff spot, and then if it's a lefty, then yeah, absolutely. Maikel Garcia absolutely can hit against left-handed pitchers in the leadoff spot, and you get a little bit more versatile bottom of the order, and you don't have to play Jonathan India in a leadoff spot that he's just not really comfortable with right now. So I am in a position where I do believe that he is not a leadoff guy, but in a spurt, in a day where Mike Yastrzemski doesn't have a good matchup and Jonathan India is in a slump, absolutely, I'm fine with them hitting Maikel Garcia in the leadoff spot against a team like that, and against a guy like Bailey Ober who has better numbers against left-handed batters than righties. And then tomorrow, it'll be, I believe it's still Bailey Ober going tomorrow, or Ryan Bergert going tomorrow. Let me check FanGraphs right now. They're usually pretty up to date on that. I know it's still up in the air when Jack was talking about it on Mailbag Friday. FanGraphs usually does a good job of updating things, but it looks like it will be Ryan Bergert against Jose Urena tomorrow. And Jose Urena, a guy the Royals have not seen much, and a guy that's really bounced around the league a ton. I'm pulling up his page right now, his Baseball Reference page. I mean, he's played for now 11 teams in his big league career. I'm going to pull up his splits to see if he's ever had any success against the Royals, if he's played against them before. Probably something I should do before the show, but obviously wanted to prepare accordingly. I mean, he's only had 4 appearances in those just one start. I don't think it's anything you can really base too much out of him. In 12 2/3 innings, he's only got 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. So something I think you can somewhat rely on. As the Royals are going to be a little bit more competitive tomorrow, Bailey Ober has been at some points pitching well, but then again, I think he's a respectable big league pitcher against the Twins team. I know that there were some people in the comments last night that were saying, well, this is a quote-unquote depleted Twins team. They are. We saw their A team last night. You don't get to play that every single day. Joe Ryan doesn't get to pitch 5 days in a week. So we'll see a more toned down version of the Twins tomorrow. I do believe, and maybe we'll see Luke May. I think Luke Maile will catch tomorrow. So we'll see Salvi in the DH spot. So a little bit of a different lineup tomorrow, I would expect. Maybe we see Mike Yastrzemski back in the leadoff spot, but should be interesting going into tomorrow. All right, let's get to some comments before we get out of here. Obed saying Vinny has been awful. Yeah, sub 200 since the All-Star break has not been fantastic. Pitching staff was great. Bolin saying I wouldn't be shocked if I saw Michael Massey on the 10-day injured list next season. He's a regular there. He tends to be there plenty. Looking at some comments. Curtis saying, however, the offense continues not to shove against starters with 5+ ERAs. Yeah, but Bailey Ober is a guy that's pitched well against the Royals this season. He's obviously pitched well against them. Didn't do very well against them last year, but definitely interesting to see them not do well against bad pitchers, but I'm not sure. Obed, he said I said something that was so savage. What did I say that was savage? I don't know what I said. My corgi's name is Hyatt, and her her Australian Shepherd's name is Scarlet, and they're both very good boys and girls. Sheeran says, I think India is going to be the 7-hole for the rest of the season. Thoughts? Yeah, I think that's probably the best spot for him in the lineup. Obviously came through with an RBI late tonight, but that batting average is still pretty low. OPS is pretty bad. But I think that, like Kevin said, with runners in scoring position, hitting over 300 with a good slug, I think that that's a position that he's probably going to be in a lot more this season, and definitely would like to see him there more often. Parker says, non-Royals question, and as a Colts fan, how do you like DJ Giddens? Love DJ Giddens. I actually grew up 10 minutes away from DJ Giddens. I played against DJ Giddens in 7-on-7. That's how young I am and how close I live to DJ Giddens. Funny story about him. He didn't play varsity until his senior year. When we played Junction City in like 7-on-7 stuff in the off season, he was not even on the team. I was a year older than him. And so I never even saw him play. I played against the team he was on, but he never played. He was JV until he was a senior. So to see him do what he did at K-State, and obviously now for my favorite NFL team, the Colts, absolutely love to see it. Obed saying, Jack said India won't be back next season. What's your opinion? I think they at least need to look for an upgrade. I don't think that they can do what they've been doing. I think they at least have to look for an upgrade at second base. I don't think Michael Massey's an option at second base next year. He's ARB eligible. I don't think they want to pay him an arbitration number, especially with how injury prone he's been. And if you can find an upgrade at second base, if you can find a third baseman that you can play, I mean, Eugenio Suarez is going to be a free agent. That's a guy that they had interest in at one point this season. Maikel Garcia can play second base. I don't know if that's his best position, but there is obviously a need to upgrade some positions at the plate. I think they should look anywhere and everywhere. I mean, you can upgrade in the outfield, third base, and second base. Just open yourself up to opportunities. Don't hold yourself to just one spot that you can upgrade in. I think that Jonathan India is an upgradable position based on what we saw from him this year. Gary said, I like Massey. I don't. I'm not a huge fan of Michael Massey. I've made that very known. He is literally the worst fastball hitter in Major League Baseball, or at least he was before he got hurt. And that's one of the most essential things that needs to happen as a baseball player is being able to hit fastballs. But I appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Appreciate all of the comments. Bill saying Cole update. I imagine that means Cole Reagans. I haven't heard anything. I would imagine that he is kind of they're playing it safe. I would imagine that they are being as safe as possible with Cole Reagans. And it would be a bit of a surprise if he was back before the roster expansion. But definitely something that Royals fans are curious about, and I appreciate the question. Curtis says, please see my comment about tomorrow's game being on Roku. Trying to look for it, Curtis. I'm sorry about that. I don't see a comment about the Roku game, except for bullpen game tomorrow for the Twins. That's the only comment I'm seeing from you, Curtis. But yeah, game on Roku tomorrow. I believe it's free. I'm sure everybody's got a Roku app. I know I do. But if not, Stream East is always available if you want to do that. But definitely appreciate you guys all for being here tonight. We will see you tomorrow. It'll be an earlier show tomorrow. We'll get in and out of here. It's a noon first pitch, so we'll get in and out of here real fast, probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be doing this show and then sending you into the homestand where the Royals will have 9 home games in a row. Appreciate you guys for being here. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow for another edition of the Royals Postcast.